Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Coached Up. I am your host, Kyle the Style Beckton, and once again, I have my esteemed co-host with me here. What's up, Dad? How you doing?
Oh man, hey, I love the balloons. I'm like the balloons. I'm flying high today. It's a great day because we really got an upgrade today. Uh, our set even looks a whole lot prettier for some reason or another.
Right.
Uh, we are honored today to have on our show the one and only pride of Lexington, Tennessee, Rose Wambach Beckton, and she is the stunt
Woo!
coordinator for the Atlanta Hawks. Welcome, Rose.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a
A
pleasure
round
to
of
be
applause.
here.
Well, we appreciate you. We appreciate you taking the time out to come and chat with us here on Coached Up. Normally we do have basketball coaches, but like Coach said, you are a stunt, cheer, and dance coach. So we're switching it
Right.
up this week. But like we said, we're all about coaches and just wanted to shed light on all coaches from all through sports. So glad to have you today, Miss Rose.
Uh,
Yep.
Um, so yeah, we'll start at the beginning like we usually do with our guest. Where are you originally from? What do you consider your hometown?
My hometown, I consider, as Coach Beckett already mentioned, Lexington, Tennessee. I spent most of my childhood there, so you could say you could call that home for me.
all right. All
Oh,
right.
and so we know that you are a professional cheerleader, but going all the way back to your early days, how did you get started cheering? Like, what sparked that inside of you to actually want to be a cheerleader?
Oh man, so I have been flipping around the house for as long as I can remember. Um, my mom, I probably got on her nerves the amount of times she had to tell me to stop flipping on her bed. So growing up, I just loved to be on my hands, and the first time my school gave me the opportunity to do like a miniature cheerleading clinic for the young girls, I think I was in second grade, and so the older cheerleaders that were on the junior
Hmm.
varsity team taught us a little dance and some cheers. And so that combined with my love of being on my hands, it just was like, um, it just all made sense to me after that. And I said, that's what I want to do. I want to be a cheerleader.
Well, oh yeah, and I also forgot to, as I in my introduction, to tell it to let everyone know, cause I'm a proud father in love, cause Coach Rose is my daughter in love, so I want to throw that in too. So, and the best daughter in love in the world. And
Thank you.
hey, Rose, I got a question to ask you. Can anyone become a good cheerleader, and do you need certain abilities to be a cheerleader?
That's a really good question. I think there are very different levels of cheerleading. So I would start with saying that anyone could be a cheerleader. Um, there's introductory cheerleading where you're just like on a pep squad, right? Where you can cheer on whatever team you're cheering for. And then it goes all the way up to the competitive and professional level where there are certain skills required to be a part of teams like that. And I think that varies depending on the level at which you want to compete or the professional team. But yeah, there once you get up there, there are certainly some prerequisites, let's just say,
All right.
that that are required for you to even audition for teams of that stature.
Oh, okay. All right. So, did you do sports, or did you ever do any kind of competition cheering?
I did, yeah. So I started competition cheerleading when I was in college. And so we had our like our standard cheerleading team that would cheer for we at MTSU, we cheered for almost every sport that you can think of. So from football to basketball, I think I even cheered at a rugby game, um,
Wow.
a volleyball game, a few volleyball games. So yeah, we were there to support almost all of our athletic teams at Middle Tennessee State. But to compete, you had to actually try out for the competitive team. And so I competed 3 out of the 4 years that I was at Middle Tennessee State.
Right, right, right.
Oh, okay. And I guess for those who don't know, when you go into a competitive team, I guess what is the difference as far as like the tryout or like the workout or the training that you do when you just on a pep squad? What's the difference in like the tryout? Is it more intense or what's the difference?
I mean, it's definitely more intense. There are skills that are absolute requirements, such as tumbling, stunting, jumps, uh, that you that are required for you to even step on the mat. And then on top of that, they're only taking the best of the best out of those skills, because obviously when you're competing, you don't take everybody. So you may have the skills in one area or 2 out of 3, but if you don't have the total package, it's pretty difficult to make a competitive team.
All right.
Gotcha.
Hey, well, Rose, did you ever go out for a team and not make it?
I actually did. My first year at MTSU, I tried out for cheerleading, and I personally didn't think that I had all the skills to make the team.
Mm,
Um, I ended up not completing the tryout, so I didn't make the team, I guess you could say. And the coach actually asked me to come back the next year and try out again, because he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, and that was that I at least had the talent to gain the skills,
right,
um, just not the experience at a
Hmm.
collegiate level yet. So
right.
that was pretty cool.
All right. So
Okay,
that
that
showed
actually leads into a question that I was going to ask you. Oh, sorry. That leads into a question that I was going to ask you. Um, did you or what coach did you have that inspired you to keep going? Was it your coach in college, or did you have a coach before that that kind of inspired you to, keep working on your skills and getting better?
That was actually the first coach that inspired me to continue to work on my skills. So after not believing in myself enough the first year, when he came back to me and let me know that he was surprised to not see me at the last day of tryouts, and that he really wanted me to, um, go through with tryouts, and that anything that I didn't know already, he would help me learn. Um, that really helped me
Hmm.
build my confidence back up again to be successful in cheerleading, and it pushed me further than I've ever been pushed before. To be honest, I was always like the best cheerleader in high school and middle school. And so to get to college and see cheerleaders that were as good as or better than I was, and for me not to be at the same level of them, that was that kind of like crushed my confidence a little bit. I wasn't as I didn't have the confidence going into that audition or that tryout that I should have. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, he was the one that brought me out of that, and encouraged me to keep going.
right. Look, when how do you feel when
Awesome.
people say cheering is not a sport?
Ooh, stop
that
that lie.
Uh-oh.
that hit a nerve there, didn't it?
Yes, and I mean, it happens all the time, right? People say that all the time, but what I would say to them is if you don't think cheerleading is a sport, try it and then tell me it's not a sport.
Got gotcha.
Got you. Yeah, it definitely takes a lot of athleticism, a lot of hard work and practice, to do what you guys do. So hats off to you for sure. I know you spoke about going to MTSU or college. So going a little bit before that, how did you end up going to MTSU, and what made you initially try out for cheer at MTSU?
Oh my gosh, that's a really funny story. So, the coach from MTSU, the same one that inspired me to come back or encouraged me to come back again, he was actually in Lexington to view a potential recruit that was on the same team as me. So he came to a basketball game, and he it's funny because he said when he walked in the gym was just rattling because we had like this new sound system and that we just put into the gym, and we were playing probably, I don't know, what did we used to play back then? So,
Oh, who
you
knows?
know,
Who
like the
knows what
bringing
y'all
out
were playing
songs.
Who let the
Right.
dogs out or something?
I Am Number One by
Right,
Nelly, or
probably some Nelly or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah, one of those songs. And they had the speakers cranked all the way up. But he tells this story of like this quiet drive through this small town with just a couple of stoplights, and then he gets in the gym and it's just like boom, 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 like, crazy loud. But anyway, he ended up at the end of the game kind of approaching the girl that he came to see, and then I of course was there too, and he was like, yeah, you should try out and bring your friend, and which was me. And so that is how I ended up finding out about MTSU and the cheerleading program, and then wanting to pursue that further.
Oh man.
Cool, cool. So
Mm-hmm.
he came there
Yep.
looking for
So it
somebody
was
else.
actually by mistake. All right.
Yeah, yeah, and found me.
All right. Hey, whatever
Yep.
happened to that other girl?
She did not go to MTSU.
Just curious.
No,
Just curious.
I think ended her career after her cheerleading career after
Right,
high
right.
school. But
Gotcha.
yep.
You kind of
Wow.
touched on this earlier, but what was the transition like from high school to college and your biggest challenge? You kind of touched on it, but could you elaborate a little more on that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, yes, I did touch on it already. I think going from being, like I said, probably the best cheerleader on my team at that time, um, to seeing all the talent at tryouts at MTSU, I think my biggest challenge was elevating myself to a level that I'd never even been exposed to before.
Right.
And that took some time, but honestly, I think it was the right choice for me to take that year and really work on myself and come back, you know, confident and better than I was before, which is what I did. So I actually, with a little bit of money I had left over, hired like a private coach to teach me co-ed stunning. And I was in the
Mm.
gym almost every day. So like I had a friend that worked for a gymnastics gym. And so when I got the opportunity, that I will probably get into this later, but that was my first coaching opportunity. And that also ended up being the opportunity for me to continue to work on my skills as well. Um, but yeah, I worked really hard that year, and I it showed at tryouts the next year.
Cool. Cool.
Wow, that is
Yeah.
an amazing story. You just had to take it upon yourself to put the work in to get better. Some people don't realize that that's what it takes to get better if you want to move on to the next level. So kudos to you for taking that initiative and doing that for sure.
Thank you.
Right on, right on.
So while you were at MTSU, like you said, you did a competition. What I guess what was your guys' biggest achievement during competition, and personally, what was your greatest achievement as a college competition cheerleader?
As a team, our greatest achievement was placing second or runner up at nationals. That's the biggest
Mm-hmm.
competition in college is NCAA Collegiate Nationals, and we placed second in that, which was huge for us. Um, I would say personally, my biggest achievement. Ooh, that's a hard one. I think this is probably where I stepped up more as a leader of the team, um,
Mm-hmm.
as the captain for my team in my senior year.
All right,
So,
Cool.
cool. So as y'all
So
got into,
as oh, go ahead.
go ahead, Kyle.
oh,
Go ahead.
there
Go ahead, Kyle.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah,
must be a
you got it. You
delay.
got it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we got a little delay.
Hmm.
And tell us a little bit more about your national competition experience. But how exciting was that? Was that a big deal? Like coming from Lexington and then being on the national stage. What was that like?
Oh man, it's a huge deal. It makes my armpits sweat just thinking about it. But yeah, so it's the most intense 2 minutes and I think a little under 30 seconds, 2.5 minutes that I've ever experienced in my life. Um, it's a really amazing experience, especially to get that close to taking home the championship. Um, yeah, there's nothing that I've experienced that is like that. The adrenaline that you feel, and for cheerleading, I think it's unique because you have one shot, right? Once you
Mm-hmm.
take the floor, that is your one opportunity to do that routine the best that you can absolutely do it. I mean, we have preliminaries and then we have finals in the
Mm,
championship. Preliminaries, once you make it past that, you go on to the finals, but you do carry that score over with you. So it's important that you're flawless when you perform. You basically have no room for error, and that's a pretty intense situation
okay.
Right. A lot of
to be.
stress. A lot of stress for sure.
Yes, yes.
Because I guess
Oh,
that's more stressful than like say for against a guy playing basketball because you got 40 minutes to kind of
right.
get it right. And like you said, that's 2.5 minutes. And
Mhm.
everybody, it can't be like you make a turnover and you can keep on playing. You make a turnover and
Right. You make
somebody,
it up. Right.
it's a lot of pressure. I can imagine. Yes.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
yep. I mean, of course, mistakes happen, but we're taught to just keep going like nothing has happened. Um, but yeah, you don't want those mistakes because they could cost you your whole title.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And so, after your college career, you eventually became a professional cheer and dancer. So, can you tell us about that opportunity and how did you end up being a professional?
Yeah, so after college, we made a decision to move to Atlanta, and to be honest, the opportunities there were pretty slim at the time. I think we were in a recession of some sort, and there weren't that many job opportunities. Um, and one of my friends was like, "Hey, did you see that the Hawks were having cheerleader auditions?" And I was like, "No." So I looked into that, and they were actually like in a week. So they were covered up pretty fast, and I was like, "Oh goodness, I have to get my outfit together and like figure out what I'm gonna do with myself." So I showed up to tryouts with a little bit of research about the team that I could find on the website, and did my best. To be honest, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I mean, it was even like I was like looking at pictures of the team for the previous year, and I saw that they had on like fake eyelashes. I was like, I must need some fake eyelashes. Let me go get me some fake eyelashes. So like never put on fake eyelashes in my life, but that's what they look like. So I made it happen. But it
Gotcha.
was a great experience, and to
And
be
I guess
honest, I
some of
learned a lot.
your mhm.
Yeah.
So I guess some of the stress training that you had from your previous career in college kind of helped you out, because I'm pretty sure that was very intense to try out for the Hawks. So how was that experience, just the tryout of it all?
Oh, yeah, it was very different from my previous tryouts or auditions that I've done for cheerleading. So in college, you show up, you do your skills, and you go home. Like it's not like a whole show. Like the professionals will kind of put you through. So the professional tryout process is, yes, you have to have the skills, but that's only a small portion of what they want to see from you. Um, the ability to do interviews is important, to interact with fans. Um, they obviously want a total package when it comes to looks and skills and personality. So it just brought a different level to the tryout process that I'd never experienced before. It was like a week
Hmm.
long versus 2
Wow.
days. Um, so college was about 2 days, like over a weekend, and then the Hawks audition process was about a week
Okay.
with different events. Every night. We had boot camps. Um, I mean, it was they put you through it. You have to really want to be on that team.
Hey, I got a question. Okay, like you said, it lasted about a week. At the first
Hmm.
tryout, about how many young ladies showed up for the first?
Oh, that's a good. My first year, it was about 200 people that were at auditions
Wow.
on the first day.
Mm.
Um,
And and the final cut, how many are actually on the team?
I think my first year was 24.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
Way to go.
So like
Way to go.
about
Yeah.
10%. Right. That's an
Right.
accomplishment right there.
And throughout the week, they're
Hmm.
cutting people, right? So after each kind of portion of the audition, the next day you show up and there's people that aren't there that were, they're booked there the previous day. So yeah, it was
And
pretty cutthroat.
all you had was a week to prepare, and you made it through all of those cuts.
That's God.
That's God. That, it's funny you said that because I started to interject that earlier. Like when you were talking about the whole process from back in high school, they
Hmm.
came there looking for another one of your teammates, and it ends
Yeah.
up being you. And then you don't go to the last day of practice at MTSU, but the coach tells you to come back.
Yeah.
Hey, this I see God's fingerprints all over this. But anyway, forgive me for interrupting, but as a person who honors God and His blessings, I
Yeah.
couldn't resist that.
Yeah,
That's great.
absolutely. That's the truth. I mean, people ask me to try to explain that. I have no other explanation, right? That's all God. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Go
Gotcha.
ahead, Kyle.
So about how long was your career as an Atlanta Hawk cheer and on the Atlanta Hawks cheer and dance team? How long did you work there?
my first stint was 4 years.
Mhm.
And um, yeah, so at that point they had a cheerleading team, which was, most of us had more of a cheerleading background. And then they had the dancers, which were obviously trained dancers. Um, the cheerleaders did more of the socializing and interactions with fans. And then we did some performing, but I really missed the performance part of things. So I started working to transition over to the dancer side of the team. And by the end of
Mhm.
my first year, I was able to start dancing with the dancers. So again, just like taking technique classes outside of our regularly scheduled practices and working at home, like on skills that I was taught at practice, just doing them over and over and over again, um, just
Mhm.
so I could keep up with the dancers that had been trained all their lives to do this. So,
Right. So when you were cheerleading for the Hawks and slash being a dancer, what was your greatest achievement in those roles? I know what I'm thinking of, but I want to see what you got to say.
I would say my greatest achievement was being selected to be an all-star dancer. So
That's it.
I was selected for the opportunity to dance on the all-star dance team, which, is a team of girls that they pull one dancer from each dance team in the NBA and pull us together, and we perform for the various events for the NBA All-Star weekend.
Right, right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Cause
Wow.
I think I told everybody I know. Uh, y'all might want to look at some of the pre All Star
Mhm.
stuff. My daughter-in-law is gonna be on there. she,
Uh-huh.
she she made the NBA All Star. I
Yep.
had to
Right.
throw that
Yep.
in.
You an all-star. You an
Right.
I'm an
all-star.
all-star. Yeah. Not
Mhm.
everybody can say that. Actually, very few
Absolutely.
people can say that. So it's pretty
Absolutely.
cool.
That's good to have on your resume. Hey, definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yep.
So how did
Right.
you?
Well,
Okay,
speaking of
after you
resume, we also know.
go ahead, Kyle. I'm sorry. We kind of got a delay, folks, so forgive us on
Yeah.
this.
We
Go
say
ahead,
Yeah.
speaking
Kyle.
of resume, we know that you eventually became one of the coaches for the Hawks team. So how did that opportunity come about?
So I had a couple of babies. So I called myself retiring from cheerleading or dance, um, to help, to take care of my family. But then our coordinator, director at the time, called me and we were talking about um, bringing this new stunt team to life, and she needed help. Um, and she also had another girl that I danced with during my 4 years on the team that had a cheerleading background and was willing to help as well. So we were the two coaches that formed the first ATL stunt team, which is
Mhm.
basically a co-ed team of um, ladies and gentlemen that perform stunts during the game as one of the entertainment teams for the Hawks. And yeah, that was the start of my next, oh gosh, what, 5 years with the Hawks.
And was that your first coaching experience, or had you coached prior to that?
I coached prior to that. So in
Mhm.
college, I started coaching tumbling classes for one of the gymnastics gyms that were nearby, and that was my
Mhm.
first stint into coaching. Um, I also did what's called NCA staff, which is National Cheerleaders Association. they put together summer camps
Mm-hmm.
for middle to high school cheerleaders, and I did a little of that as well when I was in college. So that was the first experience that I had with coaching. So it did help to um, shape who I was as a coach.
Cool, cool. What would you say your coaching style is?
Gotcha.
What's your style of coaching?
What's my style of coaching? Um,
Yeah.
I will say that I think you need to ask my athletes that. I don't know. I'm very straightforward. I offer very honest feedback. I think my athletes never really question how I feel about a skill or what level they're at, where they should be. Um, so that's part of it. But at the same time, I also want all my athletes to be successful. So I try to encourage them and push them again further than they even thought that they could be. So I kind of take my experience from my coach that brought that out of me, and take that into my coaching style to try to bring that out of other people as well.
Gotcha, gotcha. We kind of touched on this
Awesome.
earlier.
Was
Do
that your
you?
coach from college that you learned that from?
Yeah, yeah, my first college cheerleading coach. Um,
Mm-hmm.
he was very honest with me too, like, I don't know why you didn't show up. Like, you're good enough. What are you
But
thinking?
no, I feel like as a player, you can definitely appreciate an honest coach, and it
Right,
makes you
Yeah,
better. It's not somebody just telling you, hey, good job, just to go along with the flow. They're actually shows that they care about you and they want you to be better and they want the team to be better. So I think that's a great, very great trait to have as a coach.
yeah.
right.
Thank you.
We kind of touched on God's fingerprints all over your career. What a question I
So
always like to ask everybody is: do you think your job as a coach? Do you look at it as a job or a mission? Like a calling.
Yeah, I mean, when I first started coaching, I definitely didn't. It was a job. It was a job, and then through as I matured throughout my adult life, I started to see the way that good leadership could affect the lives of people, and it became more of a calling to me. Um, like I don't, I didn't appreciate at first the words or of encouragement that a coach could have that could completely change someone's life.
Yeah,
Um, but now I do appreciate that. So that's something that I'm always mindful of when I'm
yeah.
coaching. Yeah.
Right. Go ahead, Kyle.
um, I I have one more question that I have for you, and I want to know if you can answer this for me. So, do you know, or is there a GOAT cheerleader or a GOAT cheerleading program? Either
Oh,
Or both.
oh,
or both.
okay.
I guess you might say you're the GOAT. You might be the GOAT.
No,
Self
I
anointed.
wouldn't say that. Um, it's hard for me to say that there is a GOAT cheerleader. I can't think of one right off the top of my head. But the
Hmm.
the GOAT cheerleading program is probably, in my opinion, Louisville or
Oh,
Hmm.
Louisville Cards. They have
Yeah.
an amazing cheerleading program, and they're actually the one team that could beat us in college.
That's the only team that took y'all down, huh?
They took y'all out, Rose.
They did. They did.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they just have amazing athletes, and I mean Kentucky, they breed cheerleaders. So that's on the NCAA side. There's also this other side of cheerleading that's called UCA, and the University of Kentucky is one of the best cheerleading programs on that side as well. But yeah, I mean, there's some really great programs out there, but those are the two that stand out for me.
No. When he was talking, Kyle was asking that question. The person that came to my mind, which I don't, my whole range of cheerleading goes to you, through you. But I thought about Paula Abdul, seeing that where she came from, and then
Uh-huh.
what she became as an entertainer, and
Right.
starting out as a
That is
Laker girl,
yeah.
That is a good one. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess I wouldn't consider her a cheerleader. I consider her a dancer.
dancer. Okay,
Um, but yeah, when it comes to dancers, oh man, there's a whole line of really amazing dancers on that side that have danced professionally as cheerleaders in the NBA. So
gotcha.
yeah.
I guess my next question is, now that you have an aspiring dancer in your household, what's it like to see Sky as she progresses through this journey of hers into dance? What's that like?
Oh, there's so many emotions, to be honest. I mean, I cry every time I see her perform, like, because it's just like seeing her passion unfold on stage is really amazing. Um, and then there's part of me that wishes she understood my journey a little bit better, and that impacted her to make better decisions in her dancing career, because she just has so much talent. And I think what she lacks is the initiative to work hard, and so it's hard to like see her not have that initiative to realize that she has so much talent and she could be so much better if she would put in the work.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, but
That,
she's amazing.
I,
Gotcha. So maybe she'll
amen.
interview and then she can understand your journey a little better.
I hope so. I hope so. She man, I always tell her that she's better than me. She's way better than me than I used to be. Like she's really good. But with a little bit more work, she could be like the best.
Off the
So
chart.
yeah.
Yeah, she'll get there.
I
Yep.
She'll
think
get
so.
there.
I think so.
Um,
Because I know it's hard when you did something and then you see your kids do it and they're better than you. I felt the same way when I used to watch Kyle play baseball. Of course, I couldn't compare him to basketball because I was just but baseball. I was good, and then I saw him and I saw what he could be, and I was like, man, I ain't no way in the world I was doing that at no 7, 8, 9 years old, and
Yeah.
you see it, but it's got to come from within. But as a parent, you do your best to give them the opportunities, and I think you guys are doing a great job of not just with Sky, but I'm talking as a granddad and now podcast fans with Niall and his sports and music and of course Pace. We think she's gonna do everything, so
I
I think you
know.
guys are doing a great job of giving them opportunities to find out what niche they want to go off into.
Mhm. Thank you.
awesome. So, I know you're not coaching right now, but in the future, do you see yourself doing any more coaching? And what's next for you coming up?
Oh, you know, this is my first year not coaching in a long time or not being involved in some sort of cheerleading and dancing. And although I am busy to my max, I still miss it sometimes. So I think I'd like to get involved in maybe teaching some like master classes or putting on a couple of camps or something like that that could help people um,
Mm-hmm.
refine or gain new skills in cheerleading and dance. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not something that I want to go back to full time. I feel like I need to invest that time in the kids, but I would appreciate like filling my coaching cup every once in a while with some specialized classes.
I hear you. I hear you.
No, that sounds amazing. Like you said, it's in your blood, so
Hey,
you gotta get it out. You gotta get it out. So for sure.
God opened up all those doors for you for a reason. That's for sure. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, he keeps
Mhm.
calling me back, so I'll have to keep blessing people.
There you go. There you go.
Amen.
Yep.
Well, hey, I think that's all the questions that I had for you, Miss Rose. Dad, did you have anything else you wanted to finish off with?
No, that's all the questions I got. But like, I want to thank Rose for coming on here and, like I said, making our show look a lot better, if nothing else. But hey, you've given us some great insight on the cheer dance world, and we really appreciate that. Thank you, Rose.
Yeah, I hope everybody does appreciate cheerleading and dance a little bit more after this. Um, just like any other sport, it does take hard work, determination, the proper mentality. You know, the total package, really, mentally and physically, to be successful in the sport. So um, hopefully, people that even love basketball will appreciate those beautiful women on the sidelines a little bit more after seeing this.
I think they will. I think they
That's
will.
right. They will. Well, guys, that's gonna wrap up this new episode of Coached Up, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.